controlled by the Cabal at the time, hosted virtually all of the world's fairs. The term Cabal describes the hierarchical, monolithic organization operating out of secrecy, which has its roots in the ancient mystery cults. This cabal was able to spread across the earth like a spider's web, especially after the last reset. Shortly before his death, John F. Kennedy likely referred to this very cabal when he said,
"For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed."
Who exactly was Kennedy referring to here? Is it merely the danger of communism, as is often claimed? Or could he have been referring to the group that UFO researcher Richard Dolan has dubbed the Breakaway Civilization? Although Kennedy may have been a part of this cabal, his words still ring true. Ultimately, the elite control all sides through the dialectic process, where the world is a stage and they pull the strings. Just as the aristocratic elite were replaced by a new political power structure during the French Revolution, in our time there are also pre-planned power struggles that appear natural to the uninitiated observer. On a political level, we know this under the name COINTELPRO, short for Counterintelligence Program. It refers to the infiltration of political groups by the FBI during the early days of the Cold War. Nowadays, the term controlled opposition is most often used to describe resistance movements being deliberately built and controlled in order to neutralize the energy of the masses and channel it into activities acceptable to the elite. The process of dialectics, i.e. the study of opposites and their resolution, is a fundamental aspect of mass psychology. Now let's return to the breakaway civilization. This term was coined by Richard Dolan in his book UFOs and the National Security State. He came to the conclusion that an elite group with access to high technology and secret knowledge has followed its own path of development, independent of the rest of humanity. This allowed a parallel civilization to establish itself on Earth that we know little about today. According to Dolan, they probably live in huge interconnected underground bases. They are financed by black budgets, the visible part of which is called the deep state, but their structures go much deeper. They have their own view of the cosmos and our place in the world, of our history and our origins. They keep their knowledge secret, and much of their work is to keep the public ignorant. To quote Richard Dolan,
"There is a clandestine group that possesses technology that is vastly superior to that of the mainstream world, the ability to explore areas of our world and surroundings presently unavailable to the rest of us. They have scientific and cosmological understandings that give them greater insights into the nature of our world, and a significant built-off-the-grid infrastructure, partially underground, that affords them a high degree of secrecy and independence of action. In our own official world history, you go back 200 years and compare levels of technology from Europe to, say, Central Africa, and you're talking about two vastly different ways of understanding the world. So really, what is the difficulty in understanding that a classified, secret scientific community would make radical breakthroughs that they wouldn't share? I don't think it's outrageous. And I do think this has happened since World War II. Now, one of the breakthroughs they've made is in what we call anti-gravity technology. Could this have happened in the 19th century? I don't think that it's impossible in theory. I have speculated privately many times whether there has been a secret breakaway group going back to ancient times. When you look at some of the really puzzling mysteries of our ancient world, whether it's the Great Pyramid of Giza or Machu Picchu, there are elements of those and other architectural sites that have been left behind that, to me at least, don't make a whole lot of sense in the context of human society as it then was supposed to have existed. The Great Pyramid doesn't make sense to me in terms of 2,500 years ago ancient Egyptian culture. I wonder if this was a human construct at the time, and what human civilization are we talking about here?
Could it be that this civilization, split off from our official historical line of development, is behind many of the events of the 20th